That's good. That's good.
All right, cool. We should be good there.
All right, let's just get this. Let's get this stuff started before, God forbid, anything happens. Let's get this rolling.
All right, I'm just waiting until we are up and running on Twitch.
Yeah. Because you know what, I was going to ask you if you could play the celebration theme, but you can't because of no fucking sound bites.
No, cause Blog Talk decided to
Take a dump.
literally shit the bed.
Well, I'll, I'll,
Eh,
I'll do I'll do a fake version of it.
I mean, I could add it. I'll add it in later. I could do
Well,
some. I could do
when
some
we do
quick. I could do some quick editing.
when we do the Angels talk, like celebrate good times, goodbye. I'll still do that joke though.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, oh, when I saw it didn't come over, it's like you were having problems with Blog Talk. I'm like, really again?
Dude, if I were you, I'd be on the fucking horn with him tomorrow because this bullshit can't keep going on. It's like I would be telling him, like, look, bitches, you're deducting every time that period. Of course, that's just me though. When Optimum does that shit, I'm on top of them the next fucking day. But that's me.
Okay, so that's okay. We are up and running. I don't know why it doesn't say that we're up and running on Twitch, but that's a whole or not on
Other
Twitch
than
on
YouTube,
no on fucking what's it called on
Twitter, Facebook.
no and why is it's frozen? That's
What's
what
frozen?
no fucking Streamlabs.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
All right, well okay no there we go we got it back. I don't know what's it's probably just the fucking not the
Could be
computer, but
there.
it's not the internet. I don't know what it is, but we're live. We're good to go.
All right, let's start this.
Yep. All right. In three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Betting Window on the Nerdport Network. I'm your host, Evan Ronnie, and with me, as always,
The celebratory zombie master, and we'll get to why in a minute.
and Christian and Ryan should be joining us later. But if it's your first time joining us, welcome. And if you are a returning guest, where the fuck have you been? If you don't know what we are a sports podcast that delves into the good, the bad, and the what the fuck was that in the wide world of sports and sports betting, leaning more into the sports betting of the odds and futures. On today's show, we'll talk some Major League Baseball news as well as the College World Series. The bracket of 64 dropped on Monday. We'll go over it as well as predicting who we see coming out of the group of 64 into the Sweet 16. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a little different. If you don't know what college baseball is, it goes from 64 teams immediately to 16. Cause fuck 32.
Yeah, well, then that means you don't have to sit there and watch 1,000 fucking games.
Oh no, there's still 1,000 fucking games. It's four. They put four brackets. They put each section. It's 16 divisions, pretty much, with four teams in it, and then it's round robin.
Yeah, but it's like not like with basketball. It's like every time you turn around, there's like, this game is on, that game is on. It's like it's like all it is Sweet 16, Sweet 16, Sweet 16. This is why I don't watch some college sports because A, there's too many fucking teams. B, the playoffs take fucking forever. And it's too much to try to keep up with. I know Ronnie and Christian are big on that, but I don't hate the sport, but it's just too much to keep up with. I have a hard enough time keeping up with Major League Baseball and the NFL. I don't need to add a college football on top of that. But that's just me. Thanks.
College football is probably one of the easiest. In all honesty, it's probably one of the easiest things to look at because you're not looking at one team, you're looking at a division for most. So like the
Yeah,
SEC
but
is usually the big thing for college baseball. It's the SEC because it's the southern schools.
let me ask you this: How many now? I'm asking this honestly, not for a joke. How many teams are there legitly in college football?
Okay, so in
Give or take,
in what though?
roundabout,
I'm saying all together,
in
or
general, in
so
general.
there's four different divisions. There's D3, which I don't know because I
Just give me a roundabout number.
well no, but I'm saying it actually matters on where you're talking
Are we
about.
talking about? Are we talking under 100 teams or over 100 teams?
It's over if you're talking about everything.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
But it wouldn't matter if you're looking at just the SEC or the Big Ten. You're looking at 16 teams.
The reason I say that is because okay, let's say there's a novice college football fan like myself. I'm not well, I know the sport, so I don't want anybody to think I don't know football. I know football. Let's not go there. But a novice of who to follow in college football. There's like, oh, you'll get some people saying, oh, you got to follow this college or you follow this college. No, 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 that college sucks. Go follow this college. There's like, where do you even start to even begin to look? And I know some people go geographically. I mean, I have New Jersey's got Rutgers, New York's got Syracuse, and all that shit. But it's like, well, what if you want to follow some team out in Colorado or California or Georgia or you get what I mean?
Well, so when it comes to say, like, if you want to watch the stuff out west, you would want to go and watch the well at that point it would be the Pac-12. It's not the Pac-12 anymore. It's kind of like the Mountain West would be where you would want to go for out teams that are out in like California, Colorado, and say like Nevada, that type of area, West Coast.
Using just those areas as an example.
But if you want, I always tell people if you're gonna go and do something, go look at the top 25. Pretty much, just turn on ESPN on a Saturday. At that point, it's just usually the best teams are playing. If you have to find like
Yeah, I mean it's like I've gone out to eat at restaurants or a bar, and there'll be
I watch a lot of the games that are because I'll watch games that are in different vicinities. So say like I'm not expecting anybody to go watch Buffalo versus Akron. No, because unless you're honest to God, unless you're fucking betting on the game, there's no fucking point. There is no point to watch an Akron game. No one needs to see the turnover pencil.
Well, I've heard the only reason I've heard of the turnover pencils from what you fucking say about
because it's a joke. Because Akron is a school that prides itself on its academics. So what did they do? They've got a huge giant number 2 pencil, and anytime there's a turnover, they give them a number 2 pencil.
That just sounds fucking stupid.
It really is.
It just that to be quite honest with you, that just sounds fucking stupid.
And why do you think we've made jokes about it on the show? Because it is fucking stupid.
It's like I've seen, in past and stuff like that. Oh, the Mets lost again. What a shock.
And Lopez got Lopez's glove talk after ejection was unacceptable.
He yeeted the ball. He yeeted his glove into the fucking stands. Yeah, I saw that. But I can't blame them the way they're fucking playing. But anyway, but no, it's like and Alonso got hurt. He got hit in the hand.
Oh, shocking.
Yeah, and he actually came out of the game. He didn't even stay in the game. He came out grabbing his I don't know, grabbing his fingers or wrist. I don't know what he was grabbing,
But anyway,
but
back to what we were saying.
but back to that. It's like I've heard you and other people that were involved in this podcast and Christian too. It's like the way you and Christian talk about how you know these guys by name. You know every guy by name almost. You know them by what they did last year or where they're going to go in the draft. And I'm like, that's impressive, but it's like so much to try to keep up on. And I was like, I don't know how you
But
guys do it.
that for me and Christian is literally decades of watching the sport.
True.
That's not just like I can't say that's us watching it for a year. I'll say this: I never watched like I was a Big East, Big Ten guy, and top 25. Like if there was like a Alabama game, I'd watch it. If there was a Georgia game, I'd watch it. The rivalry games, Alabama, Auburn, things like that, like games along those lines, I would be watching those because they they were meaningful. Like, but when it came to say watching games like Hawaii or Oregon, I really didn't get into that until like 5 years ago.
The only team I could say I've watched, I don't want to say I've watched regularly. I'm sure you remember the show Duck Dynasty. I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody remembers Duck Dynasty. I was a big fan of Duck Dynasty. And I don't know if it was Willie. I think it was the one that runs everything. Willie, I believe his name was. I can't remember off top of my head. Big LSU fan. Every time he turned around, he was talking about LSU this, LSU that, LSU this, LSU that.
The Bayou
And,
Bengals.
and all I remember is like he would dress, he had jerseys and he would talk about going to games. And I'm like, and I think one season, I don't remember what year it was, but I think I watched 2 or 3 games with LSU, and I'm like, they're purple and gold, right? Or purple
Yep.
and yellow, I think.
Purple and yellow.
And I'm like, seems interesting enough, but the show's been off for years. I haven't watched a single game since. but it's just
but I also
that's it, yeah.
But also when it comes to football too, when it comes to college, another reason why me and Christian both like it is because it's the pageantry of college football. The crowds are more invested in the game. NFL, honest to God, if your team's doing shit, nobody cares.
That's kind of how I am with baseball because it's like where you guys excel in football, college football. And I don't think I'm saying this to toot my own horn, but you would agree. I'm a huge baseball fan.
Yeah.
And I'm quite knowledgeable about baseball. I have been my whole life. And what you just said rings extremely true to me because right now my team is absolutely the drizzle and diarrhea shits of the world. But what that's done with them being that way, I've actually started following the Colorado Rockies, even though they're bad too. But coming into the season, they were predicted to be bad. I'll turn on MLB Network and boom, there'll be a Rockies game. I'll sit there and watch it. And I know they're shit because they were predicted to be shit. And well, they haven't disappointed. But
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like when it comes to what's it called? Like the one thing with college football that's great is there are so many games. There are so many games that if you don't want to watch one, unless the game is say at 11:30 at night, aka a Hawaii game, you can turn on any other channel that would have sports and a game is on.
I mean, I know like you have 2, 4, 7, ESPN, ESPN2, fucking
Fox Sports, FS1,
Fox,
FS2,
SNY,
SNY. Yes, we'll have something.
True TV has them every once in a
One
blue moon.
Blue Moon. ESPN Plus has a ton.
But you see that's the thing too, and that all goes back to what I was saying originally. It's like when you talk about a person who's a football fan, but not a knowledgeable college football fan when it comes to what team to follow. It's something you've told me this, and Christian's told me this too. I wish he were here. I wish I'd throw this at him too. It's like, all right, I'm a novice guy coming. I'm a novice fan of college football, but I'm a football fan. Who do you think I should follow? Why should I follow them? And what's the reason I should follow them?
I mean, the
I'll
obvious.
I'll direct it at you, and if Christian comes in, I'll direct it at him later.
The obvious answer would be to look at, say, the teams from the South, the Alabamas, the Auburns, the Floridas,
The
LSUs, because they're the teams every year that fight for a national title.
Right.
Now, if you're looking towards something smaller, you stay home, look at a Rutgers.
Or Syracuse.
I wouldn't tell you to go watch.
Does Seton Hall have a football team?
No, they do not.
Seton Hall doesn't have. I'm surprised. They have a basketball team, but they don't have a
basketball team. Well, yeah, because they don't. So, a lot of other teams, like a team like Villanova, doesn't have they have a football team, but they don't have a football team like a Rutgers. They're a smaller school.
What about Georgetown?
I don't know if Georgetown's a 1AA. Well,
the reason I know about Georgetown sports is because that's where Patrick Ewing went.
Yeah, I mean, basketball, it's a big fucking deal. That's actually a good question. Does Georgetown have a football team? I actually don't know that. Because Mom.
Holy shit, folks! He doesn't know something.
Monmouth is a 1AA school.
Monmouth is in Monmouth, New Jersey. Monmouth.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, who fucking knew?
Well, I mean, that used to be a big thing when it came to, say, like Coastal Carolina used to play against Monmouth. I used to go watch those games all the time. Like the Ivy League. Honest to God, I've watched Ivy League football. It is some of the dumbest shit in the world, but when I tell you it's a bunch of smart guys beating the shit out of each other, it's the funniest shit in the world.
Well, that's like Harvard and Yale.
Yes, Georgetown does have a football team. They're 1AA, which is it's called the FCS. So they're not playing for like national titles, but they're the next division down because they're D1 in every other sport.
Okay.
They're in the Patriot League with Lafayette,
Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, the Lehigh Mountain Hawks, Lehigh Valley, Fordham, Colgate, Holy Cross, Bucknell. That's that division. Georgetown's in that. They were 5-6 last year. Decent. I can actually say wholeheartedly, I'd never watched a single game.
Of who?
Georgetown.
Like I said,
I've watched Princeton and Yale. Princeton's another one, being in Jersey.
Well, Princeton, yeah, I know, because I've been to fucking Princeton. That's the thing.
But like, if you want to look at, let me pull up the rankings. For the one, like last year, the number 1 seed was Michigan. But like, then you want to look at South, like Georgia, Alabama, Florida State, Missouri, Ole Miss. Staying around here, Penn State. I mean, shit. The one that everyone watches is Notre Dame.
Well, yeah, Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame's also had a history of.
But that's the thing. Notre Dame also is. Let's face it. A lot of people started watching Notre Dame because in the 90s, that was all that was on. In the 80s and 90s, there was like the Cowboys back in the day. That was all that was on.
Right.
NBC was Notre Dame. Unless you watched local. If it was watching football on television, it was mostly Notre Dame.
Right.
Or Army, Navy, things like that. Like, there's teams you could literally just, nowadays though, everything is getting it. You could literally just turn on ESPN and they'll usually have like a Florida State game. Or they'll have this. And obviously, listen to what me and Christian have to say, because we're going to tell you the good games. The games that are like the must-watch games, pretty much.
True.
Like, I'll even bring it up now. Like, when everything kicks off, the big game for the first week of the season is going to be the what's it called? The game over in Ireland, which is Georgia Tech versus Florida State.
Right.
Now, Florida State's going to be a heavy favorite, but it's still going to be one of those games that you're going to get a lot of people very interested in.
Well, it's like I said, that's a game I know you and Christian are probably going to be getting all wet and hot and bothered over.
Christian won't, because he doesn't give a shit about Georgia Tech. To me, that's the official kickoff for college football.
Right. But for me, it's just like I said, I'll be at a restaurant with my special lady, and we'll be sitting there at the bar, and college football game will be on, and I'll just glance over at it, but I mean, I'm not going to sit there and like go, oh my God, this team didn't score. Oh my God, check that. No, I'm not going to go all that crazy about it, because just to me, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but
the Arizona Bowl this year will be televised on CW. The Snoop Dogg.
C-Dub.
Yeah, the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl.
See, I think that's what gets me too, is like the fact that all these college bowl games have some of the stupidest fucking names.
It's all the sponsors. It's the sponsors of each thing. Like, Jimmy Kimmel had the sponsorship for that game, but lost it due to the allegations.
What allegations?
The list.
What are you talking about?
Epstein.
Wait, he was involved in that?
There was allegedly he was in the book.
Oh.
So
whatever.
there's a whole thing about that, but yeah, like week 1, like week 0, it's Florida State. Like the first week of the season, you get it's LSU. It's the games down below. Like, it's the games toward the Monday. It's Labor Day weekend. LSU USC is going to be in Vegas, and then Boston College Florida State is the Monday game, which usually that's a huge rivalry. So you're going to see a lot. That's a game that we're going to be ready for.
Okay.
And that's the game, and but also another thing is you get a lot of shit, a lot of shitty games in the beginning, because it's all, hey, let's pay this college to come here to they get this money and we can look good.
Right.
Like Rutgers has Howard. The spread was probably going to be 40 points. Rutgers favored by 40.
Sorry, I think Howard the Duck.
Yeah, Howard Bisons. I think that's the name of the school. But one of the games that's happening is, and this is a big one, Miami of Florida versus Florida in the Swamp. That's a huge game because that's an in-state rivalry. That's probably where, as Christian would say, that's probably going to be where game day is going to be.
More than likely.
Yeah. But, like, that's a game you watch. Clemson, Georgia, or they might be in Atlanta, too. Like, that's going to be a game, because that's a noon. So, like, so ESPN, the 2 games on ESPN, actually the 3 games that are going to be on ESPN, it's Clemson, Georgia at noon, Florida, Miami versus Florida at 3:30, and then at 7:30 it's Notre Dame, Texas A&M.
Okay.
That's the slate. Literally, you can turn on ESPN, sit on your couch, and you ain't leaving until 11:30 at night. That's gonna be people. Trust me, the people will be doing that. They will be just sitting on their couch doing nothing.
Look, I'm not saying you're lying.
And then they'll ask you how you got into wrestling.
Don't start.
But no, like, college football we're 90 days away. We're 3 months out. And we actually start, I mapped it out. We actually start previewing college football on the 19th of June.
Okay.
Do our normal stuff. We go through July, and it literally will end the week before week 0. So
interesting, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, then we'll start with the MAC, do the group of 5 schools that Christian's not going to give a shit about.
Don't nobody care shit team.
Yeah, the Miami of Ohio's, the Ohio's, the Buffaloes, Central Michigan, Northern Illinois, things like that. The Bowling Greens, ball, get your ass in the shower state.
Jesus Christ, man.
I mean, if you know about Ball State, literally, people will joke about that. Welcome to Ball State.
I've heard that name before.
Let's put it this way: it's got the same kind of reputation like Rutgers.
That good, huh?
Yeah, it's a statistic.
I'll take your word for that.
And if you know the statistic, you're welcome.
I'll take your word for it.
Because 1 out of every 3 like to watch college football.
Anyway.
Find a stud for a touchdown.
Anywho. Shall we move on?
Again, if you get the joke, you're welcome.
I don't, so let's move on.
I'll explain it off air.
Please don't, because I have no idea what the fuck you're speaking of, but I'll take your word for it.
Again, I'll discuss it off air. But yeah, all right. So let's get into college baseball. Hold on. NCAA baseball ratings. No, baseball. Just baseball. Okay. I'm pulling up the brackets right now. So what college baseball does is they take 64 teams, kind of like how March Madness is for college basketball.
Okay.
They take one bracket and make it 16 divisions or 16 seeds. So obviously, like the 1 versus 16, so and so. They take 4 teams in that, and they throw it into that division. So, like the 1 seed, the 1 seed's Tennessee, and they got home field advantage.
I guess they had the best record in
they're the
college
number 1. They are the number 1 overall seed. And they're playing at home. They have Southern Mississippi, Indiana, Northern Kentucky.
Okay.
And then you get like the 2 seeds, 3 seeds, and then they'll take the each national seed. So the easy way to describe it is the national seed from 1 to 16 is your NCAA rating. So like when someone's like when they do the top 25,
Okay.
the
Yes.
top 16 get in to that's how they figure out the bracket.
All right.
And then 1 will play 16, 8 plays 9, and so on and so forth.
Yada yada yada. That it is.
And it's
That,
double,
like, kind of,
and they play in a round robin, and then it is a double elimination. So for most part, you're playing 2 games minimum.
so basically, you're playing a 2-game series. In other words.
Yeah,
Or
first,
3. Yeah.
It's first team to 3 wins will win that bracket.
Okay.
Because it'll go 1-1, then it'll do winner versus winner, loser versus loser. Obviously, winner of the loser bracket moves on, losers out, then the loser from the winners will play and then go to the finals. And then the team that has 2 wins needs to lose twice to get knocked out.
All right.
So then it's a best of 3. It's pretty much a best of 3 for everything.
Interesting.
Then it divides down into the super region. They call it the super region, which is a best of 3 series where, like I said, the 1 takes on the 16, the 8 and 9. And then the next section is Omaha, and that is the top 8 teams will face off against each other in elimination brackets and so far and so forth.
Yada yada yada. So on and so forth.
Yeah.
And all that kind of
Yep.
happy horse manure.
So we will go, and I'll explain what's going on too with a lot of the stuff too, because obviously it's not something that everyone's gonna know. Because I'll say this: there's some teams on here I know nothing about their college baseball team, because I honestly don't care.
You don't give a shite?
No, honestly, I don't give a shit about Northern Kentucky or Southern Mississippi when it comes to that. Maybe I'll give a shit if I start hearing people talk about it, but not really. So we'll start off obviously with the number 1 seed. That is the Tennessee Volunteers, the Knoxville region, where Tennessee is a -400. Southern Miss is the 2 seed, or is the 4 seed, sorry. Indiana's the 3 seed. Northern Kentucky, Southern Miss is the 2. Northern Illinois is the 4, and Indiana's the 3. So the first games are going to be Tennessee, Northern Kentucky, and then Southern Miss, Indiana. Yeah, Tennessee is not losing in Knoxville. They're going to move on. Indiana might give them a hiccup, but you're going to have to try to take 2 games from pretty much one of the best teams in the SEC. It's not happening. Tennessee's moving on. The next one is the Greensville bracket, which is shit. Where are you? East Carolina, where East Carolina will take on is the 16 seed, which they have Wake Forest, VCU, and Evansville. Wake Forest is favored in this division. Eastern Carolina's plus 150, and then VCU's 13-1, Evansville's 14. Wake Forest is only ranked like this because they almost won the ACC title.
Okay.
Eastern Carolina has 2 of the greatest pitchers in college baseball.
Are we talking first rounders?
Yes, we're talking first rounders, maybe like middle of the first round. like starting pitching.
Wow, that good, huh?
Let's put it this way. Halfway through the season, the one starter for Eastern Carolina had an under 1 ERA.
Nice.
Yeah. He finished the year with a 1.5. The other guy that's on there, I forget his name, finished with a 2.
Shit.
Yeah, and I think just due to pitching alone, ECU is moving through this division. Now, do I see Wake Forest? I see Wake Forest gonna be catching them in the finals. So you're probably gonna see the final game to get out of the region be Eastern Carolina Wake Forest. Most likely, and that's gonna be fun. Next bracket, we're going to Norman. Boomer Sooners have the home field advantage on this, but they are not the favorite to win their bracket. Duke is the favorite. They are the 2 seed. UConn's the 3. Oral Roberts is the 4.
Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts last year is a team that made it to Omaha because of their pitching, and it was the right place, right time. Ain't happening this year. They're not one of the better teams this year. Duke is the team that was going to come out of Norman. Oklahoma is not going to make it. UConn, I don't know. UConn is plus 850. Oklahoma's plus 160. Oral Roberts is 30-1. Yeah, you might as well make that 150-1 because it ain't happening.
Jesus.
Duke advances out of this division, then they'll get a home game. Next is the Tallahassee. Now, this place I'm about to talk about is in Tallahassee. It is going to be, no matter what, the hardest under you are ever going to see in college baseball, because it is in Florida where it is humid and the ball does not fly like it should. It is just going to die. So I'm betting, if I have to bet these, I'm betting hard unders. Florida State is the home field team with the 2nd seed Alabama at plus 230. UCF is plus 450, and Stetson is 15-1. Again,
Stetson, and like as in the hat.
Yeah, as in the hat. Again, who? I stand by it. Never heard of that college.
Yeah, like I said, I hear Stetson. I think the hat.
By the way, the hat is in the logo.
Gee, why am I not surprised?
Alabama's good, but they have no offense this year. I've watched some of their games. Their offense is awful. Florida State's coming out of this. Next, we are going to Fayetteville. Woo Pigs, the Arkansas Razorbacks, is the top seed in this. Louisiana Tech is the 2. K-State is the 3. And SEMO, Southeastern Missouri.
SEMO?
Yep, Southeastern Missouri State.
I think SEMO. I think Seymour Butts.
So Arkansas is minus 350. Louisiana Tech is plus 450. K-State is 6-1. And SEMO is 30. Again, SEMO you're gone. Arkansas Woo Pigs, they're going to take over in this bracket. Because Louisiana Tech thought they were going to be on vacation, and so did K-State. The next, I'm not even going to go through the odds because there's so many more. I'll burn through these quick. Virginia is the next one. It's in Charlottesville. Mississippi State, St. John's, and Penn are in this division. Virginia's probably going to win this, but the guy that people need to look for is the pitcher out of Mississippi State, who is a switch pitcher.
Oh, so he's a hitter. He's a hitter pitcher.
No, he literally is a switch pitcher. His glove.
Oh, he throws lefty and righty.
But here's the fun part. His righty, he throws the ball 98 miles an hour. As a lefty, he averages 96.
There was a guy who played in pro ball for the A's. That was a switch pitcher.
Yep.
Didn't last long, but still.
No, but this kid is really good. He's probably going to be the guy that goes up against St. John's in round 1. So that's going to be Friday night. Definitely something to keep an eye on.
But what about, there was that kid. What about that kid that played, that I was talking to you guys about earlier in the season? He's a first baseman. He hit all those home runs.
We'll get to him because that's in Florida.
That's what I'm saying. He was in Florida. Where are they ranked?
Well, we'll get there because we're getting to him. The next one is Tunson, which is Arizona Wildcats. Dallas Baptist University is the 2. West Virginia is the 3. And Grand Canyon's the 4. I have Grand Canyon beating Arizona in the first round, but Dallas Baptist is winning this division. They are that good. They are the Oral Roberts of last year. This team will come out of this division and will actually get a surprisingly, I think they'll play the winner of the next division, which is in the Chapel Hill bracket. UNC, LSU, Wofford, and Long Island University. LSU coming in is the reigning champs.
Okay.
But without Paul Skeens not being there anymore, being in Pittsburgh, and what was the other batter's name? I forget the kid's name. He was the second pick of the draft last year.
I can't remember I can't remember that.
Well, I'm trying to think, where was he?
I know you're talking about, but I
Where did
just
he
can't
go?
think of...
Where did he go?
I think he went... You know what? Hold on. Let me look it up. You're talking about the 2023 draft?
23, yeah.
All right, let me see. Keep talking. I'll look it up for you.
But with Dubin being gone, Wofford, and Long Island, this is UNC is gonna take this division. LSU is good, but they don't have the horses that it did. That they
okay, okay. Here we go. It was the Nationals had the second pick, and they put Dylan Cruz.
Okay.
It was a center fielder out of LSU.
Yeah, that's
he went second.
Yeah, he's the second. He was the player. He was the best hitter for LSU, while Paul Skeens was the best defenseman.
And the rest of the top 10 was let's see, Max Clark went to Detroit. Wyatt Langford went to Texas. Walker Jenkins went to the Twins. Jacob Wilson went to the A's. What's that name?
I think Jacob Wilson's actually up in the...
Rhett Lauder went to the Reds. Blake Mitchell went to the Royals. Chase Dollander went to the Rockies, and the 10th was Nolan Meyer, who went to the Marlins.
So who was the kid that went to the A's?
That was Jacob Wilson, and he was a shortstop out of Grand Canyon University out of Arizona.
Who is in this? And Grand Canyon's back in this freaking game. Don't be surprised if you see him getting called up with how Arizona's been, or not Arizona.
No,
sorry, with Oakland. With how Oakland's been, they could use as much help as they can get. And they're
unless they use them for a trade piece.
They could do that too. I mean, they're down 3-2 right now to Tampa.
But still, they're not as bad as some of the other teams we talk about here.
Yep. What is it? Next is College Station bracket. Texas A&M, the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana, Texas, and Grambling State. Texas A&M.
Okay.
That team is insanely good. They're the second best team in the nation. Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara, the Gauchos, San Diego, Oregon, and Fresno State. The winner of this is going to be either the Gauchos or the Ducks. Stillwater, get ready for this because I'll explain this when I say this. Oklahoma State, Nebraska, Florida, here's Florida, and Niagara.
Okay.
Overs all day. The average team in Stillwater scored 16 runs.
Damn.
That was the average. This is a bandbox. Like, this place is going to be freaking jacking up home runs all fucking day. This is the division that I am going to stay up late to watch because Florida and Nebraska, I've watched Nebraska. They have a good hitting. Their team is good when it comes to hitting. Oklahoma State just freaking destroys pitching. Florida is Florida, so yeah, overs all day.
Interesting.
Next is Clemson. Obviously, Clemson. Vandy, Coastal Carolina, and High Point. Unfortunately, Coastal Carolina's not going to win this. High Point's out. It's either going to be Coastal or Vandy, or Clemson or Vandy. I think it's going to be Vandy. A lot of people are saying Clemson. Clemson is the favorite. But I think Vandy comes out of this. Next is Athens. Obviously, it's Georgia. UNC Wilmington, Georgia Tech, and Army. This is the dogs. Uga rolls through this because Georgia might win the whole thing this year. They're that good. Raleigh, you're gonna go NC State, South Carolina, James Madison, and Bryant. Bryant, nice to know you. Get the fuck out. The Gamecocks. South Carolina's going to take this. Corvallis, Oregon State, UC Irvine, Nicholas, and Tulane. I would like to see UC Irvine take this. Again, this is another place that is a bandbox. They're just going to be freaking hitting home runs left and right. I think UC Irvine's got the better pitching. Tulane and Nicholas are screwed in this.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, Oregon State and UC Irvine are going to be freaking hitting bombs. And then finally, Lexington, Kentucky, who shouldn't even be a 3 seed. They're not good this year, but they got the home field advantage against Indiana State, Illinois, and Western Michigan. This is going to be... I got Indiana State taking this.
Okay.
And that's it. Those are the 64 teams that are in the bracket. Friday this begins, and it goes up to Monday. After Monday, we'll have the Super Regionals, so we can come back here next week and talk about the Super Regionals and who advanced and if there's anything that is noticeable. So, while I'm at that, do you have any questions?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything.
All right.
Now let's move on to the pro ranks for some good news.
Yeah, Angel Hernandez is officially retired.
Celebrate good times. Fuck you. Goodbye. I am so happy when I read this news that Angel Hernandez was leaving. I literally said, I got to go out and buy a lottery ticket because today is the best day in the world. I sent you a link. Supposedly, MLB went to him about his about how he's been playing, about how he's been umping, and he supposedly got up and stormed out of the room and then retired not too long after that. He finally realized, okay, MLB's on to me. Better fucking leave now.
Well, when you literally miss calls back since 1998 because you had a flight to catch.
Yeah, I mean, anybody listening knows, if you're a baseball fan, you know the name Angel Hernandez. This is a guy that the ball could be in the dugout and he'd call it a strike. He's terrible. I keep bringing this one game up because it shows. I mean, umpires sometimes during a game, if they're on the field, they miss like first. If they're at first base, they may miss one call. This was a game against the Yankees and the Red Sox. He missed 5 calls at first base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 calls. He's a 5-time. I'm not doing the joke. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. But how was that man still employed for as long as he was?
Well, that's a great question.
I'm sorry. I've been to Little League games. I've been to some some high school games and stuff like that. And those umpires are not professionals. They're fathers, cops or firemen or whatever. They're not professionals. They call a better game than a man in the fucking major leagues. That's how bad this guy fucking is. And now, every player in the world can go, and take a deep breath because they won't have to worry about him getting on his knees and blowing the game anymore. And that's how you got into baseball. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I went there. But no, it's like, now, what's your thoughts? I mean, do you think it's about time he left?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He didn't need to be around anymore.
I mean, the last game I looked it up. The last game he umped was May 4th. It's like, we had some good jokes written here. Maybe another time we'll do them again. But we had some good jokes here. Fuck you, Blog Talk. Yeah, I said that out loud. What the fuck, Blog Talk? But Blog Talk sucks. But no, it's like, no. In all seriousness, he needed to go. It was just, he was just a drizzling shits.
Well, I mean, the fact that, like, CC Sabathia had a huge press conference when...
I remember that. That was after a playoff game. He was wearing his Yogi Berra shirt. I remember that interview.
Yeah, saying Joe West should never be allowed to coach a playoff game. And then he says, well, who else thinks that? He goes, everybody.
But the fact that somebody that just retired, I sent you a link for it. Was it Joe West that said he was a great umpire? I sent you a link on Facebook about some umpire claiming he wasn't as bad as everybody claims he was. And I'm thinking to myself, are you smoking stuff? Are you inhaling stuff? Are you huffing stuff? Are you drinking stuff? Are you shooting stuff? Because what planet are you on? I mean, it's like Stevie Wonder would say, I could have called a better game than that. Because it's like, I mean, during a game, an umpire can miss a call here and there. You watch an Angel Hernandez home plate game, 95% of the balls are going to be called wrong.
Yeah.
A strike, a ball right down the middle. Up, ball up in the crowd. Strike 3. I mean, come on. It's like, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this either.
Hello, Christian.
Hey, what's going on?
You,
I
you're,
saw
you,
you. Look, I saw you call. I wanted to do my Angel Hernandez and missed the call.
perfect timing because that's who we're talking about right now. So please, Christian, give your 2 cents about it. I want to hear your cents on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know someone else that could say it better than I can.
We don't
Hold
have
on.
blog talk, so there's no sound effects tonight.
Yeah, but you know, Blog Talk usually doesn't like me.
Blog talk is taking a dump tonight, but that's beside the point. And we had some good jokes written too.
Yeah, God. Hold on. It's loading up. Look, this is such a win for baseball. Like, every team should get a win in the W column for this.
Yeah, right.
Like, I saw a video the other day of CC Sabathia just saying he was like, Angel Hernandez is fucking horrible.
Yeah, we were just talking. We literally 2 minutes before you came on, we were discussing that. It's like I said celebrate good time. Fuck you.
I mean, look, this has been way overdue.
Fuck. It's 5 years overdue.
No, this is more than 5 years overdue, John.
I'm trying to be polite, but that doesn't fucking work.
I'm not.
Well, no, it's like it's the thing I brought up before you came on. It's like when an umpire is on the field, like either third base or first base side.
Mm-hmm.
Traditionally, they might miss one call a game, maybe. They'll misjudge a ball down the line, or they'll misjudge a play at first or something. Not so much third, but more so first. I have never seen an umpire blow 5 calls during one game and had to get reviewed 5 fucking times when Angel Hernandez umped a game between the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
5 times. I mean, he's safe. No, he's out. He's out. No, he's safe. It's like.
Nah, I would have loved to have been in every Major League Baseball clubhouse after that news came out.
Yeah, it is. I was flipping around. I mean, I didn't watch the whole game because, well, I just can't. The Mets were on, and Keith Hernandez. I heard Keith Hernandez mention Angel Hernandez, and the very next, the cameraman zoomed in on the crowd, and there was a clown in the crowd just as he was talking about Angel. I said, "Oh my God, that's perfect."
That's hilarious.
A clown referencing another clown that's no longer an ump. Thank God.
That's hilarious.
But it's just the fact that, I mean, it was just, I mean, I don't know if the cameraman was like telepathic or something, or he's just like, oh, they're talking about Angel. Oh, there's a clown. Zoom in.
Mm-hmm.
Cameraman, zoom it.
That's hysterical.
But it's like, no, all in all, as a baseball fan, I'm happy the bitch is gone. I don't have any remorse for him. He was fucking terrible. He was just. I said the joke before. Stevie Wonder could call a better baseball game than fucking Angel Hernandez.
No Stevie slander.
No, I'm not knocking Stevie. I'm saying Stevie would be better.
Yeah, he would.
But yeah, no, final thoughts on. Let's get final thoughts and move off that dung heap. We'll never have to mention his name again. So, Ronnie, do you have final thoughts on that dung heap?
No, I'm good.
Christian, any final thoughts on that dung heap?
Nah, man, that's the real reason why I came on. I ain't staying on. I called at the perfect time. When I saw Ronnie was setting up, I was gonna join in when you guys started, but like I said, I wanted to pay homage to him. I wanted to miss the call.
Yeah, well, like I said, we had some good. Ronnie and I had some good jokes we could have done tonight, but Blog Talk decided to take a dump tonight. So.
Yeah, but nah, that's just crazy, and it's funny because I was talking to Kev about it, and yesterday was Kev's birthday.
Oh,
like, look at you!
Happy birthday, Kev!
Yeah. I'm like, Kev. I'm like, cool. Look at you. It's your birthday, and Angel Hernandez is gone from umpiring baseball. He goes, "That's the best fucking gift I could have got."
Well, let me put it to you this way. I'll just say this joke since we can't use the soundbite. Angel Hernandez is retiring. Hi, welcome to Chili's.
Yeah.
How can I fuck up your order tonight?
Angel Hernandez. Who else is bad?
Nobody
Besides him?
nobody that bad. There's a few umpires that are not the greatest. Stevie Buckner is not exactly the world's greatest umpire, but he's better than fucking Angel.
Nah, that Hunter Wendell Schmidt or whatever.
Hunter
it is,
Wendell Stat.
Yeah, he needs to go too.
Well, he's like 1,000 too. I give him another year and he'll retire too.
Yeah, because I'm still pissed off with him, what he did to Aaron Boone.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's the same thing about that Phil Cuzzy when he did to Max, when Max was still a Met.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it's like no. I'll be Angel. I'll be your server. What can I get for you? I'll take a hamburger and a burrito. Sends out a taco and a bag of dishwater. I got the order right, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, this was way overdue.
Oh, totally. And it's like, it's his age. He's 61 years old. He's not that fucking old.
Okay.
But there were people, believe it or not, I saw this on Twitter, and I wish I'd have saved their names because I would have shouted them all out. There are actually people defending him.
Who? Angel Hernandez?
Yeah, there was actual people on Twitter defending him, going, he wasn't that bad. I'm like, I almost wanted to say, okay, put the crack pipe down, stop fucking your relatives, and get off the internet.
Yeah, man. Angel Hernandez ain't too much older than Ronnie. Like, he and Ronnie in the same bracket. I'm just trying to get Ronnie to say fuck off.
Ronnie's not saying a word.
Oh, that's how you feel now, Ronnie?
Oh, you know what? That Christian.
Oh, Jesus. Christian, look what you did.
The only thing is Joe West is the greatest thing ever because he blows more than me.
Hey, yo.
I said that right.
Ugh.
I mean, listen, he's bent over more and he's definitely on his knees more.
Ugh.
Good Lord.
What's next? They're gonna have him for the Savannah Bananas because God forbid, that's not the only time that he's ever taken a ball and strike.
Hey, yo.
Hey now.
Oh God, Joanna, what the fuck? Could be worse. Raider Dave could be saying something about him.
Oh God.
Yeah, Raider Dave probably stuck a hole in a cabinet, and he's probably fucking it as we speak.
I think he might be listening. He might be listening.
Listen, it's IKEA furniture. It's great to be rebuilt.
God.
It gets you fucking pissed off while you're building it, so you might as well fuck it while you're at it. No, but Christian, I'm glad you're here because Ronnie and I were talking about this earlier, and where he was talking about college football, and I got a question for you that I want to ask you, and I got his take on it, but I want to get yours. Okay. Now you take a novice, not a novice football fan, but a novice fan of college football. Mm-hmm. Now you're talking to this guy who's like saying, I want to get into watching college football. Who do I watch? Why do I watch them? And who do you recommend I do watch? Even though I live in, say, the East Coast, but should I follow a West Coast team? But you get my point?
I mean, you immediately think of the Blue Bloods. You know, I'm talking the Georgias, the Michigans, Notre Dame. Alabama, even though I know this year Alabama, they're going to be different. It's a new chapter for them. No Nick Saban, right? Kalen DeBoer is coming in. And I mean, this is going to be a
transitional year.
Yeah, couldn't agree with. Yeah, you said it best. It's going to be a transitional year. Don't get me wrong. I love the Kalen DeBoer hire because everywhere he's gone, he's won. You know, I mean, he's coming off a year where he just led Washington to the national championship. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He has a
Right.
record of 105-12 as a head coach. I mean, look, they're not asking this guy to be Nick Saban. They want him to be himself because you can't replace Nick Saban. Nick Saban is probably the greatest college football coach ever
I mean,
to roam a sideline. But yeah, I would tell that person, I say, look, watch the Blue Bloods. I'm talking um Michigan. I'm talking Ohio State. I'm talking Notre Dame. I'm talking Georgia, Alabama. Just because they have that history.
Because the thing I said is because I like the thing I brought up before. I said the few times I watched it, you were familiar with Duck Dynasty, right? The TV show.
Yeah,
Well, one of I think the guy Willie, who was like the lead, he ran the company and stuff. He was a big LSU fan, and during a lot of the episodes, they would talk about LSU, which got me thinking. And I watched a few games of LSU during the time of the show because that's all I kept hearing about was LSU, LSU, LSU. Now, are they a big name school? Are they a big ticket school? Or are they just a
they're
local?
good. I mean, you're gonna get a good year from them here and there. Like they haven't really been relevant in that aspect since 2019. I mean, look, Ronnie and I have this discussion all the time. We've had this, Ronnie, you know where I'm going with this.
yep.
We've had this discussion on Monday Evening Quarterback, and I think we've even had it on this show as well. Because I remember Ronnie one time asking me, what who's the greatest college football team that I've ever seen? I mean, from top to bottom, had a stacked roster. And look, I love '01 Miami. I mean, all the stars that they had on that team, from Ed Reed, who's now a Pro Football Hall of Famer, Willis McGahee, Reggie Wayne. I think Andre Johnson was on that team, who's going to be a Hall of Famer this summer. I mean, they were just absolutely stacked. But to answer your question, John, about LSU, they won it all in 2019. And I knew that they were a special team when I saw them go into Austin, Texas, week 2, and go in there on the road, hostile environment, and punch the Texas Longhorns in the mouth. I mean, and that LSU team was pretty stacked as well.
Like, was there any
Jamar
big star?
Chase,
Okay, Jamar Chase. I was going to say, what big
Justin
names were on that?
Justin Jefferson, um, Thaddeus Moss. That's Randy Moss's son, and Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow put together the best season I've ever seen from a collegiate quarterback in all my years that I've been watching college football. And I just started analyzing college football in 2012, right?
Okay.
But I mean, each week he was locked in, and that same mindset that he has now in the NFL with the Bengals is what he had with LSU. Nothing phased him, and we always talk about.
I mean, my biggest thing for him was the what was it? The 6 touchdowns he had against Oklahoma in the playoffs.
Not even that, right? He had 7 in that one because I think he ran for one.
Did he have like 6 in the he had 4 in the first half?
He had 4 in the first quarter.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's not even that. What stood out to me the most in that season from Joe Burrow was excuse me, going into Tuscaloosa and beating Alabama. To me, that's what won him the Heisman.
Yeah.
I'll say this, John, to you about LSU. Usually the winner of the Saban Bowl, that's Alabama versus LSU. Because, I don't know if you knew this, but Nick Saban used to coach LSU.
No, I've heard you mention that on more than one occasion.
The winner of that game, 9 times out of 10, normally goes on to the SEC championship.
Okay.
So that's usually a pretty big matchup. It always happens the second Saturday in November. Last year when they played, both quarterbacks almost ran the ball for over 200 yards. And I'm talking to Ronnie during that game, and Ronnie's like, "Are you seeing this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm seeing it." This year it's in Baton Rouge, and I mean, what a great opportunity for Kalen DeBoer to get that signature win
And that's
that we
always
like to call it.
LSU's homecoming.
What, when they play Alabama?
Yep.
Yeah, but you mentioned this last week. I looked at Alabama's schedule the other day. They have to go to Camp Randall.
Vegas has them winning 9 games.
I can see it. I can see it.
John,
I can see it because
you know who I think. Who I think they average like Vegas usually will have them going undefeated. The fact that they have them going 9 wins is like a shock.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The game that's going to tell us what we need to know about Alabama is when Kirby Smart and Georgia go to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Because if Alabama can win that one, I think Kalen DeBoer and Alabama, they're on the right trajectory. Because right now, I have a Georgia versus Ole Miss SEC championship game because I think this is the best Ole Miss team that Lane Kiffin has had since taking a job in Oxford.
Yeah, I can see that.
LSU, I think they're going to take a couple of seats back because you're not going to have Jaden Daniels. You look at Alabama. Yeah, like this is a transitional period, like John said. Georgia, they're going to be coming in with a chip on their shoulder.
And it's not easy for LSU. They open up with freaking USC.
Yeah, and I think the ball is going to fly around in that one. It's a neutral site. LSU got embarrassed on a neutral site last year against Florida State. New quarterbacks for either side. You have 2 of the best head coaches in college football. I think Brian Kelly is the top 5 head coach in the country.
Is there any,
wherever he goes, he wins.
Is there anybody on this team that's on this team this year, this LSU team, excuse me, that you see being a breakout player? And do you see anybody that is projected to be a breakout player but that could stumble?
They have a middle linebacker named Harold Perkins. Let me just make sure he still plays for them before I elaborate a little bit more.
So right now I'm looking at LSU right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have a fucking... Oh, I hate 5 games in a row that's a killer for them. They got the battle for
LSU. LSU has a linebacker, John, named Harold Perkins. He's young. He's 6'1", about 220 pounds. Yeah, he's a missile to the football. I mean, he's a tackling machine. He's kind of the mix of like a Luke Kuechly meets Devin White.
Is he? What's he? A junior?
He's 19, so he's
junior.
Sophomore.
He's a sophomore. No, he's a junior.
All right,
so he's eligible. No, he's not eligible. Now, could a junior come out and go into the draft?
Yeah.
You have to play 3 years, so this is his junior season. So he could come out.
Okay.
So wait, he went in at 17?
Yeah, he did. And I remember when he took that game over against the Arkansas Razorbacks, he was all over the field. He's a tackling machine. He's quick. He's athletic. He plays with a mean and nasty streak. And that's what you want in your linebackers. I think he's going to be the next great linebacker in the NFL.
Wow.
By the way, so 5 game stretch for LSU. This is pretty much what determines them making the possible playoff or them going to the Arizona Bowl. Home against Ole Miss.
That's going to be tough because, look, I like what Lane Kiffin is building out there in Oxford. Yeah, they lost their best offensive player in Quinshon Judkins, right? Because he's in Ohio State. He's at Ohio State now, but they're going to find ways to move the ball down the field because they still, in my opinion, they have the best quarterback out of any other team in the SEC in Jackson Dart. And his last name fits him perfectly because he throws darts. Pun intended. He moves the pocket. He can make throws on a run, but he's also able to carve up a defense from the pocket. That's going to be tough.
Yep. Then the battle for the boot. in Fayetteville, they got Arkansas.
Another tough game. Arkansas gets up for teams.
Yep, and it's a trophy game.
Mhm.
Then they have to go to College Station to face the Aggies at Texas A&M.
Which is always a tough one. I'm curious to see what Texas A&M is going to do because they really underachieved under Jimbo Fisher.
Then,
Those last couple of years, like they paid Jimbo Fisher to get them to the promised land, and the best he got was the Orange Bowl.
Yep. Then they're off, and then they got Bama,
which could determine the trip to Atlanta.
Yep. Then they go to the Swamp.
Wow, they play Florida late.
November 16th.
They play Florida late.
Yep. And then Vandy and then Boomer Sooner at home. But Vandy ain't gonna...
Yeah, look, if...
But those 5 games really are going to determine whether they make a playoff berth or they go to the Arizona Bowl. Like,
I honestly think if they can go 4-1 in that 5-game stretch that you just mentioned,
yeah,
they'll be in good shape. But what will determine everything is the game against Alabama.
Yeah. So, like, their games before that, I mean, USC, UCLA, and South Carolina are their 3 biggest games. The only good thing is USC is a neutral site game in Vegas. LSU and USC, I mean, it's a home game for USC for the most part, but LSU travels, so good. The game in the fucking I was about to call it the hen house, but it's not the hen house. In the Cox Den, I think it's something like that. I forget what South Carolina calls their field.
Okay.
That's gonna be the hard game.
Wait, what game?
South Carolina.
What, LSU, South Carolina?
Yeah, for their early.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a trap game. For LSU.
Yeah. And then home against UCLA, but UCLA hasn't been that good.
Nah, they haven't, and it's gonna take a couple years for them to get back to being relevant.
Yeah, and then, like I said, they got Sooner and Vandy, and then Nicholas and Southern Alabama. Those I'm kind of wiping them off. I'm not really thinking about what they are, but I mean, those 5 games are what's going to determine, like I said, a playoff push, maybe a shot to go into the SEC championship in Georgia, or them waiting to see them go to the Boca Raton Bowl. Like,
yeah, but I think at this point, I'll give Brian Kelly a 2 to 3 year window. If they don't at least make the playoffs or sniff a natty in these next 2 to 3 years, he's going to be out of a job.
I agree with that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Gave me a lot to digest there.
But like I also said to John when we were saying it, it's the teams like just you flip on ESPN, and it's the teams that just are always on ESPN. They always play the teams that are the top 25.
Yeah, or you watch College Game Day. You know, they're pretty informative on there. They joke around, but they're pretty damn informative on there. You know, just hearing Kirk and his breakdown. Desmond Howard is good. I think Saban is going to add a lot of insight to that show, but Pat McAfee is the heart and soul of that entire show. Yeah, you know, I think Game Day is going to be fun to watch this year. You know, a lot of great matchups on the spotlight. I think they're at College Station for week 1 because Texas A&M plays Notre Dame.
Okay, so I actually looked at what could be week 1, and I have three choices.
No, it was already announced.
Was
it? Already announced. Yeah, they're going to College Station.
Oh, okay. So they're in
Notre Dame. Texas A&M. Week 2, they're probably going to Michigan for Texas and Michigan.
Yeah. Oh, they're definitely going there. Hey, John, You're right because you're echoing a little.
I don't know. I had my power kind of glitched real quick, so I don't know that.
Yeah, I was gonna say your microphone.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Well, no, because our power kind of went.
All right. But no, like they did announce it. Okay, because there's 3 games that are gonna be freaking. There's those first 3 games are gonna be freaking nuts. The first, what is it? That's the 7:00 game. But like you turn around and you look at it. The Georgia game, or what is it? First Saturday. Hold on, I'll pull it up real quick. Clemson, Georgia, Florida versus Miami, and then Notre Dame versus Texas A&M. That's your ABC.
Yeah, I look at that Clemson and Georgia game, and Clemson has a test right out the gate. You're going to be playing a Georgia team with a chip on their shoulder, right? But what are we going to get from Cade Klubnik this year? I feel this team goes as he goes, and there's no Will Shipley. Will Shipley has been the focal point of your offense these last couple of years. Georgia, Carson Beck comes back, and he comes in with a full year of starting experience under his belt. But Georgia
and a Heisman favorite.
Right, but Georgia's going to be without their best player in Brock Bowers. So you have 2 of the best coaches in college football. You have 2 programs who are extremely passionate about the sport of football. And remember, they opened up a couple years ago in 2021 in Charlotte. And that's when Georgia just dominated and went on a little bit of a run. From there, that's when they won the national championship. Georgia, Clemson. Yeah, what were some of the other games?
Pull it back up. Here we go. The 3 on ESPN are going to be that College Station, Notre Dame, Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. It's the debut of Mike Elko, and the one thing I know about Mike Elko, he wants to establish physicality, and that's what he's going to turn this Texas A&M defense into, is more of a physically gifted football team. You saw he did that with Duke, and I think he's going to bring that over to College Station. Notre Dame, there's always questions surrounding Notre Dame because, everything is always in place for them. They have great offensive lines. They're able to run the football. And I know Marcus Freeman's going to have that defense up and ready to play, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's the quarterback where they have questions, and I'm thinking last year Sam Hartman is going to kind of answer some of those questions, but he was pretty inconsistent last year. I don't know who the starting quarterback is this year, but look, they need consistent quarterback play. And if Notre Dame gets consistent quarterback play, I think they're one of the best teams in the country.
Oh, who's the kid that I know? I saw who someone transferred to Notre Dame. I forget who it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Other games: Penn State, West Virginia.
That could be a shootout, kind of, because you don't know what version of Penn State shows up. And remember when Jim Harbaugh was coaching Michigan, and there were always those questions surrounding him. Can he get that quality win under the lights? I think now that's James Franklin.
Yeah, like we talked about, you're getting the LSU, USC, and BC, Florida State are your solo.
Yeah,
games.
LSU, and USC should be a good one. I look at LSU and I look at what are they gonna do, to replace Jayden Daniels, and the next quarterback. He can't come in and be Jayden Daniels. You got to be yourself at this point. I look at it's Garrett Nussmeier. He's going to be the starting quarterback, I believe, for LSU. Let me just make sure.
Sorry, my microphone good because I got booted.
Yeah, you're better now.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's Garrett Nussmeyer. He's going to come in and, looking at the upside on him, he's not the biggest guy. He's only 198 pounds at 6'2", but he can throw on the run. He's explosive. He's a dual threat quarterback. And every time LSU gets consistent quarterback play, something good happens. They got it from Jaden Daniels last year. He won the Heisman, and then you saw what they did in 2019 with Joe Burrow.
Yeah. I don't know if this is gonna be a game. It really depends on what version we get of them. The Friday night game, we're getting TCU at Stanford.
Yeah, Sonny Dykes. Jeez, I got my Sonnies confused. I know Sonny's gonna want to get back to where they were in 2022. You came out of left field, you make the playoffs, you win a playoff game, and then of course, you lose in a really bad fashion to the Georgia Bulldogs. Last year, they lost a lot of that roster from Kendre Miller and Tay Barber and Max Duggan,
yeah.
Quentin Johnston, Dylan Horton. Yeah, you lost a good chunk of a team that helped you get to the national championship the year before. But Sonny is a good coach. He really is. And he's going to get his men ready to play. Where's this game at? In Cali?
Yeah, it's in Cali.
Oh, that's a trap game. Because that's a tough place.
It's a quote-unquote Pac-12 after dark, but it's not because it's 10:30.
Right. Yeah.
It's 10:30 in Stanford. It's a night game on the West Coast, which usually means let the shit hit the fan. The question is, though, the one thing I want to know is, does Stanford start crawling back to being Stanford?
I'm surprised. Do they still have the same head coach?
I don't know. I have to look.
Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me see. Hold on.
I was gonna say, other than that, I'm looking at like Temple, Oklahoma. Not really looking. Because Temple ain't gonna do shit. We'll pick the game, but Temple ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah, David Shaw. He's been gone for a while. He resigned in 2022.
Like, there's games like that you might look at, like upsets, like the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State got Oklahoma State. I don't know. And then, like, there's not a lot of the first. Let's face it. The first 2 weeks are usually, as someone else likes to call it here, the cupcakes.
All right, let me ask Christian, and both of you guys can answer this. Which team is going to take the biggest shit this year? Didn't get a laugh out of you. Damn it. I was waiting for that laugh.
Oh, God.
And why are they going to take that?
Ronnie, you want to go first, then I'll answer?
I'm trying to think who is...
Because I already know who I would say.
Who do you got?
To be honest, I'm going to say the Michigan Wolverines. I know they won it all last year, but again, it's tough to bring back a team that won it all last year. They lost a lot, from Blake Corum to J.J. McCarthy, Roman Wilson, a couple of defensive playmakers on that side of the ball. And remember, Jim Harbaugh is also gone as well. I look at Michigan. Michigan could lose 3 games. I'm actually gonna get up their schedule right now because looking at everything, like, look, they start out with Fresno State. That should be a win, right? Okay.
Right.
Then I'm looking at that week 2 game right there. They're playing the Texas Longhorns, and never did I think a week 2 game would already come off with some heavy playoff implications, because the winner of this game, to me, they're going to have an easier path to a potential playoff berth. And most importantly, it's going to be a resume builder. The committee's going to look at that. Oh, look, that early season win. And I'm sure both these teams are going to be ranked within the top 10, right? Michigan's ushering in a new quarterback.
I bet you that's
Texas.
I bet you that's going to be
veteran.
I bet you that's going to be a 2-4.
Yeah, and that's a noon game. Yeah, they play Arkansas State. I think that's a win.
That's a
USC, that could be a win. Yeah, I think that's a win. Minnesota, that's a win. Then you
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
About what?
Minnesota, because that's going to be that's a trophy game. The battle for the big jug.
Right.
Minnesota always gets up for them.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota.
So I would not put it past that they go after the fucking jug again. Michigan's had that jug for fucking close to a decade
and then
now.
Then I look at it right here. You have a national title game matchup against the Washington Huskies.
By the way,
in Seattle.
There's my team that's going to shit the bed this year.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Washington. The
Huskies.
Huskies,
I can see it.
Because they lost everybody.
Here's what I think could determine Michigan's season. This 4-game stretch right here. Oregon comes to the big house. Then they play Indiana. Then Northwestern comes to the big house. And then they end it against Ohio State. I could see them losing to Oregon. Indiana is a trap game, and Northwestern always seems to play Michigan tough, especially at the big house.
You're forgetting one team. Flip it up.
Who?
Go up one more.
The one against Illinois?
Nope, one below that, Sparty.
Yeah, and that too.
Because that will be a trap game, because hopefully they will not be looking towards Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
That is a rival game. That is an in-state rival game. The battle for Paul Bunyan's axe. And Sparty likes to play spoilers.
Yeah.
Dude, this is like an old school Michigan. Like, this Michigan schedule this year feels very, 80s. The only thing we're missing is Notre Dame.
Yeah. And I always say, when the legendary programs are good, I just feel it invigorates and livens up the entire sport of college football. Just like, I think of 2017 with the University of Miami. I think they started undefeated, if I'm not mistaken. And then they even had a primetime game against Notre Dame. And anybody who knows Notre Dame versus Miami, that used to be a huge matchup in the late 80s. Convicts versus the Catholics.
Yep. Notre Dame doesn't have a hard schedule this year.
They don't, but the game that stands out to me is the one against Florida State.
Hey, we might need to get tickets. October 26th. They in the stadium.
Who?
Notre Dame.
Against Rutgers?
Nope, against Navy.
Where, at MetLife?
Yep.
John, would you be in?
I've never been to a college football game, so I don't know. I've never
then
been
they
to
have,
one.
Oh my God, you want to talk about a throwback? Thanksgiving. Notre Dame Army in Yankee Stadium. On the 23rd. On the 23rd. The Saturday of Thanksgiving.
It's on Thanksgiving?
It's the Saturday of Thanksgiving.
Ooh, I might have to go to that.
I doubt I'll be able to get out of anything that has to do with Thanksgiving that day. I would be killed. I would be killed.
That is a 7 o'clock game on NBC. That is, dude, that is old school. Army versus Notre Dame in fucking Yankee Stadium is just whoo, that is old school.
I remember in 2012, Notre Dame played Miami at Soldier Field in Chicago.
Yeah. But, like, I really wish Rutgers was playing Notre Dame. You want to fucking fight like that? That's bad blood. Like, Notre Dame
Yeah.
and Rutgers do not like each other. Everyone's
No,
like,
they
well, you haven't seen them in years. I go, yeah, we don't like Notre Dame.
Yeah, and that's my thing. You know, Notre Dame to me is must see TV. You either watch them because you love them or you're watching them to lose.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. The one thing that Notre Dame always had was Notre Dame always played Michigan. I wish they got paired into the Big Ten. I wish they weren't going up against ACC or SEC type teams. I really wish they kept themselves into the Big Ten.
But the game's on Thanksgiving?
It's the Saturday. It's the 23rd.
Yeah.
Oh, let me double check if that's Thanksgiving. It might be the week before, but it's...
No, but you know what? I've always wanted to go to a college game just so I could say I've been there.
It's the week before Thanksgiving.
No, but I'm talking about I've never been to a college football game. That might be something I'd be down to do.
Man, I still remember when I went to college game day.
I've only been to one pro. I'm sorry to cut you off, Chris. I've only been to one pro football game in my entire life. That was the Jets-Packers game because I had gotten Alicia's dad had gotten 2 free tickets to go see the Jets and the Packers play, and I went to see them on Halloween, and they lost 6-0.
What year was this?
This was Mark Sanchez was still fucking quarterbacking for the fucking Giants. I mean, for the Jets. And Tebow was a backup. Tim Tebow was a backup. So that's got to give you some.
That's like 2012.
No, was it that late?
Yeah, 2012, 2010.
I don't know, but all I know is I went to one game. I was at one game. I got to sit in Giants Stadium and watch the Jets stink up the field, but I can at least say I went to at least one Jet game.
The one like Christian, you said college game day. I remember going to the first ever makeshift college game day.
Nice. Yeah, when I went to game day, it was 2021. It was Notre Dame versus Wisconsin near Soldier Field in Chicago. Just, the entire sport was just so well represented. Just being able to network out there, but they're strict, the producers, because you can't make a sign promoting anything. Because you know how, like, they have the funny signs and everything?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
It has to be either in support of your team or
a joke.
You say something funny. Like, you can't promote anything.
You can't say, and listen to the NPN.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Nah, but it was cool. Being able to record out there and then preview the game. Like, I had a great time.
Yeah, I went when college game day, the 06 Rutgers Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
College game day was not announced. Technically, college game day has not gone to Rutgers. Bullshit. They did a makeshift college game day on a Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fucking blast. Like college football to me, it's more everyone's like, oh well, this. I go, no, it's the pageantry.
Not even that. With a lot of the things that's gone on in the world with racial wars and political discussions, you see that like on a lot of the panels and a lot of the pregame shows for the NFL. You don't see that with college football. Like on college game day, they're strictly talking football.
Now, don't get me wrong. The colleges that themselves, you kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, you know what's going on at, like, UCLA, because you kind of know what the preference is at that college.
Right.
But no one cares.
You say it right.
Ain't nobody care.
There you go.
There you go. You put a little, but you got to put a little stink on that.
Yeah,
No
man,
one
you can say
gives
like
a
you said, man.
Nobody gives a shit.
Damn it, John.
Nobody gives a Chris shit. Damn it.
But like,
Ah, damn, Aaron Boone got ejected.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Well, it was just announced that that pitcher from the Mets that yeeted his glove, he just got designated.
Yeah, I just saw that too.
You know what? Whatever.
But like,
What else could go wrong with this fucking team? Now Alonso might be out for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Well, not like this team's going anywhere.
Oh yeah.
but overall, college football, dude, we're 3 months away.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun year. The landscape of the sport is gonna be different because I like the fact that they are doing without divisions and it's just the top 2 teams
Yep.
in each conference. I like that.
We are starting officially looking through the group of 5 the 19th of June.
Okay.
So we're starting off with the MAC.
Okay.
Yeah. So just so you know that, because I mean, granted, some people won't care, but I mean, we'll do like we always do, and I took the Pac-12 and put it in with the Mountain West this year. Since you
The
know
Pac-2.
the Pac-2. Exactly. So I mean, the Mountain West is gonna be. The Mountain West is going to be merged into the Pac-12, and we're going to get the Pac-12 again.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to get a whole bunch of new teams to go into the Mountain West.
Right.
What else do we have? Apparently, Shiloh Sanders is facing bankruptcy.
I guess it must not be the money.
Apparently, he is $11 million in debt.
Oh, damn.
According to court records, filed for bankruptcy last October, $11 million. This is due to claims. A man who claims Sanders assaulted him in 2015 gave him several severe and permanent injuries, including neurological injuries and damage to his spine. Security guard said Sanders' damages for the incident. He won a $12 million judgment against him after Sanders failed to show up to trial in 2022. Oh boy.
Mm-mm.
Hey Dion, how you helping your kid out there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's like, uh-huh.
You may have sold out all your games this year, but A, you haven't helped your son, and B, what fucking team do you have to even go out of the field? 45
Yeah, because they
scholarships.
really didn't add any impactful players.
They still have 45 scholarships open.
Damn.
And a couple of guys from last year left.
Christian, are your knees good enough?
Nah, man, I'm good. Nah, my knees are great, but nah, we ain't doing all that.
Dion can't afford me.
Yeah, me and Dion would go at it. I'm sorry.
Hey, do they need anybody that got into wrestling?
Fucking Billy Bob. Coach Lance, put us in. We'll block it.
Oh, I crack myself up sometimes.
Oh,
How'd you
God.
get into football? Oh.
I mean, shit. I used to get coached by a guy who played with Lee Corso.
Not so fast.
I'm not even lying about that. I actually my coach for high school was a cornerbacks coach was the quarterbacks coach for Brown and literally played with Lee Corso in Navy.
Wow.
Yeah, like that's some fun. That's some shit. Christian, we have an official drop for EA for college football, July 19th.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am very excited.
What system is it coming out for again?
Xbox, PS5, all that. PC.
What's this college? Now those will have the names and shit.
Yeah, because the NIL deal goes through, so.
So it would be generic player number 99 throwing it to generic player number 74.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, getting that. NFL news. The Commanders co-owner said the team name will not change for now. Might have to if that lawsuit wins.
Yeah.
What lawsuit for?
So, a Native American tribe out in Washington is suing the Commanders to get them to change the name back to the Redskins.
Interesting. I thought they would be against it.
No, the problem is it's the fact that they never said it was a derogatory term. The Native Americans out there never said anything about it being a derogatory term. They actually, someone I believe came out and said, you listen to all the white women bitching about the name, but never came to talk to us.
Oh, so many jokes that I can make.
Well, no, but they were listening to the Karens saying that, oh, well, it's a racial term, this, but the Native Americans didn't care. To them, that meant warrior. The caricature of the Native American on there was a actual chief.
I forget who that was. I think it was Sitting Bull or
forget
one of those big names. I forget.
But like, it's they looked at it as you're like, oh well, it's to protect you from this. I go, yeah, but yet you're appropriating.
Don't get me started on Karens. I hate those fucking bitches in this world.
Mm-hmm. But all right, guys. That's all I really wanted to say. Maybe
all right.
I'll pop back in. I'll probably pop back in before the finals next week.
I was gonna say, worst case scenario, we'll see you on the 19th.
All right,
what's
cool.
What's the 19th? Guys. What's the 19th?
Well, that's when we start football.
Ah.
Yep.
All right, later, Christian.
All right, man. Yep.
See you.
Gee, that was only he was going to be on for 2 seconds, and it turned into what, almost 45 minutes of content.
Yep. Other than that, I don't have any other news.
I have nothing myself, so if you want to bring this into the station, I would be okay with it because I don't have anything.
Yeah. And it's all good. Ryan can join us next week.
Well, that and also it's still storming like crazy over here, and I've been getting glitches all night, and I don't know how much longer it's going to last. So.
All right. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the show. If you like what you heard, follow us on all social media accounts under the Nerdport Network. Follow us individually on Twitter at @FNRonnie.
At the Zombie Master. Follow Christian at Daily Blitz at _61. And what's Ryan's handle? Stuncock STL?
Yep. And like I said, follow us on Twitch, all of it. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube,
Facebook.
Not
even on Facebook Live too.
I don't know. I'm not doing Facebook Live, but TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Not Facebook. Sorry. I'll be posting videos up on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm gonna start slowly putting out content because for more betting content.
Okay.
So we're gonna start seeing more and more come out, because that's really right now what we're gonna start seeing. Like I said, maybe Friday we'll start seeing some more games coming out with the College Baseball World Series starting. CFL is going to be kicking off in a couple weeks, so I might have some stuff with that. And then, obviously, our picks for, what's it called? Our picks for, college football.
I was gonna say, would you do have a brain fart there?
Yeah, pretty much. God damn it, the freaking Brewers. Oh, so last thing, real quick. Iyunaga had a terrible fucking outing today.
Who did?
The pitcher for the Cubs
Oh, Shota Imanaga.
had a horrible outing. Got shelled.
How bad? How bad did he get shelled?
7 earned.
Ooh.
I will pull up his.
And he had an ERA of under 1 too.
He went 4 1/3, 8 hits, 7 earned, 1 strikeout.
Against who?
The Brew Crew.
The Brewers bitch slapped him?
81
Damn.
pitches, 56 for strikes, and he now has an ERA of 1.88.
Yeah, that'd do it.
He is. Vegas has him now still in the lead for Rookie of the Year.
And he's 31 too.
I mean, listen, he's a favorite right now to win Rookie of the Year at minus
Right.
120. Depending on what they do, Paul Skeens is 3-1.
What about that? Who's your mama guy in
Yamamoto
LA?
is 8.5. 8.5 to 1 to win Rookie of the Year.
Oh, one thing we didn't discuss too. The Braves lost somebody too. We could talk about that real quick.
Yeah, Acuna. But real quick, I wanted to say is he is now second for Cy Young.
Who is?
Imanaga.
And everybody passed on him because they thought he was too old. Gee, but they're all kicking their ass now.
But
Steve Cohen.
But like I said, I don't see him winning. I don't even see him winning Rookie of the Year. In all honesty, I think if Skeens keeps going the way he's going, he's taking Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but don't you have to have like a certain amount of pitching, a certain amount of innings?
Skeens right now, if they do not shut him down, and he keeps just going, he will hit his innings.
Yeah, but that's if they don't shut him down. But like I said,
well, you're risking that anyway, no matter what, when it comes to
a young arm,
and also, a rookie.
True. I mean, he's coming off of. He was in what, AAA last year?
No, he got drafted this year.
What, he got drafted this fucking year, and he's already in the majors?
He was the number 1 pick from last year. He just got out of college last year.
So he only spent 1 year in the minors.
Not even half a year.
But still, he basically got the Tom Seaver treatment.
Yeah,
because Seaver didn't spend that long in the minors either.
No, he literally got fucking what's it called? He got fucking beelined right to the
fast track. They had a rocket up his ass.
Yep. Like, that's what I mean. Like, he won the College World Series last year.
Jesus Christ. So June of last year he got drafted.
Yeah.
I think June is when the baseball draft is happening, no?
Yes.
Don't have a date on that, but I think it's like, but
it's usually right after the College World Series.
Let's see. Let me look real quick.
But yeah, they put him on a beeline.
When is it? When is the date? Oh, see, when the Mets pick, they picked 19th. Damn. When is the draft? Let's see. When is the July 14th, 2024.
Okay, so beginning mid
July.
July.
When is that? Is that a night that we do the show? Let's see. That is on.
Probably a 2.
Oh, that's on a Sunday. It's on a Sunday.
It's on a Sunday.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that would be a great show to do, for that, but
yeah,
whatever.
So I mean, right now, Wheeler is your favorite for the Cy Young. I still like Ranger Suarez.
Well, it's also going to depend on, we're not in the dog days of summer yet, so usually it's around the summertime is when you see guys kind of like.
Well, Ranger Suarez right now hasn't lost a game. I don't think. But I mean, let's face it. Philly right now is got a commanding lead, probably to win the East, because the Braves are officially SOL.
Because.
Yep.
Acuna, ACL tear.
Yep, ACL.
Complete ACL tear, done for the year. Austin Riley's on the shelf. The catcher, I found out the guy it's Matt Olson's on the shelf. He hasn't even played yet this year. That's why Darno's played a lot this year. So I mean, there's 3 or 4 of your big heavy guns, and you lost Strider for the year.
Yeah.
So the Braves are probably going to be. Braves are going to probably finish. They're going to make the playoffs more than likely, but they're probably not going to go too far because nobody else in the East. And it's going to be. It's a 2-man race right now. It's Philly, Atlanta, because the Nationals are going to fall apart. The Mets are a joke. The Marlins, well, the Marlins are actually worse than the Mets, which I still can't believe I'm saying that. But now the Mets are 11 games under 500. They're 16 games out of first place.
The Braves right now are 4 games ahead of everybody in the wild card. If we, like I said, they get the first wild card spot. Problem is, though, is the teams that would be behind them are, say, the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Pirates,
the Reds.
So I'm cutting it off there because the Mets are 6.
The Mets aren't going anywhere.
But the Reds, Diamondbacks, Nationals, Pirates, Cardinals, and Cubs are from 4.5 games to a half game back of a wild card spot.
Interesting.
So I don't see where you're gonna see like Atlanta. I wouldn't say Atlanta. Oh well, they'll make the playoff. I don't know about that now.
Well, I mean, their team is more. I mean, believe it or not, as hard as this is going to be for me to say, they're more physically sound than anybody else in the East.
Well, they also
as of right now.
They also just lost to Washington today too.
The Nationals, they're a young team, and they've got some young players that are going to be like. There's a kid down there, C.J. Abrams, is going to be a dynamo if he could just get out of his own way.
Wood is the guy that's going to be the big star down there.
Oh yeah, but I mean, they have more than one guy down there that's going to be a star. But as for the Mets, they're imploding as we speak. The Marlins.
Paul Skeens pitched another gem today. Holy shit!
I'm surprised I haven't seen any news on his baseball card yet. I don't even know if he's got a card this year. And I would assume if he does, it's going to be expensive as hell.
6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 9 Ks. They got the win 10-2.
I just got to say this to Pittsburgh: lock him up.
And then fucking Chapman comes in for an inning.
old Roldis Chapman.
Yep. But
But that's
yeah, Acuna's out for the year. Not a shock.
no. But
But
is what it is.
yep.
But
But like we said, you can follow us on all social media accounts. And if you like us, tell your friends. If you don't like us, tell your enemies. But until then, always remind them 3 different things. 1, Shohei Ohtani is getting paid. 2, Bobby Bonilla is getting paid. And 3, there is always a teachable moment in hell. If you don't believe me, then fuck it. That's just a fact of life. Yeah.